starting out as a consultant or you've been working as a consultant for several years, you probably want to grow your business. You want to scale it. And to do so, you need more clients. But how do you get more clients and grow, make money? In this video, I will discuss 5 guidelines, and I'll provide action items for each guideline that you can implement immediately. You can start doing it today. And what I'm going to discuss does not require you to be on the speaking circuit, write blog articles, or go purchase Facebook ads. What I am going to discuss, though, does require you to be disciplined. And it requires you to work on obtaining new clients just about every day. Hello, I'm Laura Burford, here with a Consulting Insight. If you would like more insights, please subscribe to the channel below, and if you click on the bell will let you know when the next video is available. If you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you like it. And, as always, if you have any comments whatsoever, please jot them below. I promise I will respond to your comments. The guidelines and action items I will be discussing do take time. They do require you to be disciplined and require you to do the work. But if you do the work, you will extend your reach and get new clients. Let me provide you an example. A gentleman came to me. He had been working for about 6 months on his own business, trying to build his own consulting business. And he was frustrated. As we started to work, he honed in on his niche, his focus. But once he had that in place, he started implementing some of the action items that I'm going to discuss. And within 90 days, he had his first client, and he actually had a pipeline of some additional clients. And that leads to the first guideline and associated action item. You want to connect with the right people. You want to connect with people that are interested in what you have to offer and people with whom you want to work with. And that means taking a step back and thinking about the characteristics, the tangibles, as well as the behaviors, the intangibles of that ideal client. I know it sounds easy, but guess what? It's not. And you will continually refine what that ideal client looks like. And it's great to figure out what that person, that company looks like, but you also want to hang out where they hang out. You want to be able to find them, and you want them to be able to find you. You want to connect with the right people. You might know people that run around going from one networking event or get online on a Zoom call to connect with other people. And at the end of the day, they're frustrated and they're exhausted, but they've never connected with the right person. I had another client who started working with me, and she went through some of my online training, and said, I'm not working in the right spots. And as we spoke, I said, I'm not so sure. 6 months later, she came back and said, you know what? I've wasted a lot of time because I wasn't connecting with the right people. As soon as she started connecting with the right people, her business started to take off. So here's your action item. Take a step back and think about the top 10 characteristics and behaviors of your ideal client. Then look at where you're hanging out and the people you're connecting with. Are they your ideal client? If not, one of two things. You either need to change what your ideal client looks like or change where you're hanging out. It's an easy exercise. It takes 15 minutes. It's not hard. And that leads to the second guideline, an action item. How are you different? How are you unique? How do you stand out from your competition? One person said to me, well, I have a value prop. Here's my value prop. Your value prop is the promise you make as to what you are going to deliver. And you need to have a value prop. I'm not going to say you don't. But I'm going to recommend you kick it up a notch. Kick it up a notch with something that I call your point of view. Your point of view is your how. It is how you move somebody from where they are today, the pain they have, to where they want to be in the future, success, how they define success. It is being able to articulate that journey. What does that journey look like? How are you going to help them? True story. I used to deal with information technology, and I had a client call me and say, I have 3 proposals here. They're all for network support, but I don't know which one. They all seem similar, but I don't know which one. They all promise to help me with what I need, and they did. They all promised the same thing, that they would take care of the network. They would make sure you were up 24/7. Price-wise, they were all in the same range. And as a matter of fact, 2 of the 3 proposals actually looked almost identical. What we needed to do was sit back and think about how they were going to be treated. What was that journey going to look like? And the client actually called each one in and had a conversation about the journey. And that's what sealed the deal. The journey, the how. The point of view, how they were going to be treated. Not just the end result. So here's an action item for you. Think about your how. Think about your point of view. There's actually a video out on this channel that discusses aspects of a point of view and what you need to think about as you craft your own. And there's even a short exercise in there at the end of the video to help you think about creating your own point of view. It's easy, but it's extremely helpful. Guideline number 3. Focus on the key potential clients and partners. I call this your top 10 to 20. These are the people that have the greatest potential for becoming a client and the greatest potential for providing referrals or introductions. Here's where I recommend following a targeted outreach approach. And a targeted outreach approach is simply this. You take a step back and you look at each person on the list and you get to know them. You understand them. And you come up with a way to build credibility with each one so that there's trust. So that at some point in time, that potential client says to you, you know what, I think you might be able to help me. Or you're in a position to say to them, you know what, would you be interested in hearing how I might be able to help you? And when it comes to the partners, the people that can provide referrals and intros, they get to know you and you get to know them so that they can say to you, you know what, I know somebody who might be interested in what you have to offer. Here's the challenge. You're not selling. What you're doing is you're building a relationship. You're building a relationship, getting to know them, they're getting to know you so that there's trust. So when there is a need, you're on solid ground to move forward. Solid ground so that they feel comfortable hiring you to help them with their problem. So here's your action item. Take a step back. Look at all the people you're connecting with and narrow it down to 10 to 20. If you already have that list of 10 to 20, that's great. But now take a hard look at that list of 10 to 20 and compare them to your ideal client criteria. Do they match your ideal client criteria? And for each person on that list, come up with an action plan. Guideline 4, be a continual learner. You might be saying to me, wait a minute, we're talking about getting clients and growing our business and scaling. And you're talking about being a continual learner? Yeah, I am. Consultants need to continually learn. They need to expand their skills and stay on top of what's going on in the world around them. By staying on top of what's going on around you, you're better connecting with your clients and potential clients. Let me give you an example. Every morning, I sit down with a cup of coffee and the iPad. And I use the iPad to help me stay on top of what's going on in the world around me, as well as to connect, to look at certain sources where I find information that might be of interest to my clients. I rarely go a day without seeing something that I can send on to a client, somebody I've worked with in the past, or a potential client or a partner. And I forward it on. It helps me connect with them. It helps me stay in touch. The other thing staying on top of what's going on in the world around you does, it helps you hone in on your service offering. And it helps you know when something needs to be changed. This video is being recorded during the pandemic. There have been a number of entrepreneurs who have had to take a step back and think about what's going on around them and change their business based on the world, based on what's happening with the virus. That's now. But there have been a number of times in the past I've seen things in that morning news feed that are going to impact a project that I'm working on, an engagement with a client. And I'm on top of it, sometimes before they even know about it. Take the time to become a continual learner. And here's your action item. Take a step back and think about, what do you read? What do you watch? Where do you spend your time building your knowledge and skills? And hone in on a few that are key to helping you stay on top of what is needed for your clients and potential clients. And don't be afraid to forward some of that information on to them. And that leads to guideline number 5. Guideline 5, network and network again. And I'm not talking about collecting business cards. I have tons of business cards. And when I first started out on my own, I went to quite a few networking events, and I would collect business cards. And in my left pocket went the cards of the people I wanted to follow up with. And in the right pocket went the cards of the people that, well, I couldn't figure out why I'd want to follow up with them. And I would rush home and take the cards for the people that I wanted to follow up with and key the information into my CRM system of the day, as well as send them an email saying, thank you, it was great meeting you. If you ever need, keep me in mind. And the people that went into the CRM system were on my newsletter list, so they were getting my monthly newsletter. But guess what? I never heard from anybody. Crickets. I was making a big mistake. I wasn't connecting with people. I wasn't displaying credibility and building trust. I wasn't top of mind. Think of it this way. You meet somebody, you know they're not ready for your services, but maybe 6 months, 9 months, a year and a half from now, they might be. What do you want to do? Do you want to stay in touch? Or just wait for them to reach out to you? You probably want to stay in touch. Because if you're not top of mind, when their problem comes up, guess what? They probably won't reach out to you. Particularly if they met somebody the week before that can do something very similar to you. Guess what? They're going to call that person first. So you want to stay top of mind. That means connecting with people on a regular basis. So here's your action item. Go through your list of contacts, people you've been reaching out to. You have your 10 to 20, and you will have people that go to the right that are acquaintances. And come up with a list of people that you believe might be potential clients sometime in the future, or partners, people that can introduce you to potential clients, and jot those names down. Maybe it's 30, maybe it's 50, maybe it's 90 people. My list tends to run between 50 and 60 every month. And you want to start reaching out to those people. And you say, wait a minute, that's a lot of work. Guess what? It's not really a lot of work. Because you're not going to reach out to all of them every day. You're going to reach out to 3 to 5 of them every day. And that's it. And it won't take you any more than a half hour to forward an article, drop a note saying hello, maybe having lunch or a cup of coffee or tea, sending a video via LinkedIn. You want to connect with them. You want to stay in front of them. You want to be top of mind when they have a problem. To recap, I just provided 5 guidelines and action items. Action items that you can start implementing immediately. And none of the action items are hard, but they do take time. The 5 guidelines are this. Connect with the right people. If you're not connecting with the right people, you will become frustrated and you won't move forward. Focus on the 10 to 20 key potential clients and partners, and focus on them by coming up with a plan for each one so that you build trust. You display credibility. The third, be able to articulate how you're different from your competitors. It's great to have a value prop, that promise of what you're going to deliver. But people want to know what that journey looks like. Have a point of view. The fourth, become a continual learner. Constantly stay on top of what's going on around you. Stay on top so that your clients and potential clients understand that you understand them, that you're showing value. And the fifth, network and network again. You want to remain top of mind. As I said, nothing I mentioned is hard, but you need to be disciplined. You need to work on building relationships every day. If you do that, you will get clients, you will move forward, and you will grow and scale. Before I sign off, one last piece of advice. You might be sitting back saying, you know what, the guidelines and action items sound great. But guess what? I don't have time to do that right now. I'll worry about that further down the road. Don't. Take a step back, assess yourself. Where are you right now? And then think about the guidelines and the action items. Which one or two can you implement immediately? If there's one, that's great. If there's two, even better. But implement them. You might be surprised as to what happens and how your business starts to grow. I mentioned a few videos that are out on the channel. Help yourself to them. The one on point of view has a short exercise, and it will help you start clarifying what that journey looks like. If you have any questions, please jot them in the comments section below. And now, before I sign off, thank you for taking the time to listen to this video. If you like this video, click the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel, and if you click on the bell, you'll be notified when the next video is available. And now, finally, signing off until next time. Take care.